Hey guys, welcome to the Reptile Hunt. Today we are going to talk about this device here and why you should check it out. So the device we have here is the Inkbird IBS Mini, which is a combo meter to check the humidity and the temperatures of your setups. So first of all, we're going to talk about why it is important to have the control over the given temperatures and humidity levels of your terrariums. It's simply important because you always want to make sure that So what is important about knowing the temperature and humidity levels of your setup? Depending on the animal that you're taking care of, that you're housing in your setup, they simply have different comfort temperatures and humidity levels, and you should always try to make sure that you have those levels, you have those conditions in your setups. For example, if you have, let's say, a desert dwelling animal and your humidity levels are like at the high 70s, 80s, 90s, it would be too moist for them. Or let's say you have a desert animal and your temperatures are too low. If you don't make sure to have a proper control about of those conditions, your animals will probably die pretty soon, and if not, they will live a long life in not ideal circumstances, and we don't want that. You want to make sure that you give the animal the perfect kind of conditions like it would have in nature. Let's say you want to breed your animals. To breed your animals, you should always try to copy or to imitate the given circumstances in which your animal comes from. Say you have an animal from, I don't know, let's say Northern Australia, and the breeding cycle would start by the beginning of the rain season. So if you have your animals and you just keep them on the same humidity and temperature basis all year round, you probably would get some issues with breeding. Say you have an animal from Northern Australia, let's say, I don't know, maybe Varanus cloati. Let's say we have Varanus cloati, which is a species that will start to mate by the beginning of the rain season. You can only make sure that this happens if you try to imitate the beginning of the rain season. If you have the same temperature gradient and the same humidity levels all year round, you'll probably get issues with breeding. So if you want to make sure that you take proper care of your animals, make sure that you can provide those conditions inside of your terrarium. So back in the days when I was a child, I had my first snake when I was like 5 or 6 years old. We had those temperature scales which people use inside of their aquariums. People just loop them onto their terrariums and use those for indicators for the temperatures. Hygrometers wasn't that affordable at the time. At least I remember that it was like that. So after a while they launched these clock-like thermometers which you could use. They glued it inside of the terrariums. It was kind of okay, but still not that nice to look at. So some years later they developed these things here. These are combo meters. You can check the humidity and the temperature levels like all the time. You have this display you have a cable, and then you have the sensor which you place inside of the terrarium. One issue we had with those things was you always had the cable which you always tried to hide somewhere inside of the setup to, I don't know, to get kind of a natural look into it. But, well, it was kind of tricky to get the setup to look natural with all those technical stuff in there. So now we're going to talk about this bugger here. This is the Inkbird IBS Mini IBS TH1. It is a temperature and humidity sensor which you can glue inside of your vivarium. You can choose a place for it. You can, I don't know, hide it somewhere behind some branches, or even include it into the back wall or something. The good thing about these is that you can connect it to your mobile device, and you can always check the temperature and humidity levels via your phone. So that way you don't have any cables, you don't have anything unnatural inside of your terrarium, and that's why I love this thing here. And there are also other versions of this. The IBS Mini works with Bluetooth, but there's also another version which you can use with Wi-Fi. For me, I use the mini version with the Bluetooth because I don't really need the Wi-Fi version of it. I think the Wi-Fi version is also a little bit bigger, but you can additionally plug on another sensor to those other devices. The IBS Mini, as I told you, works with Bluetooth. For me, I'm checking my setups every day. I'm feeding the animals and I make sure that they are fine, cleaning the water dishes, give them fresh water, spray the plants down a little bit, and so I don't really need the Wi-Fi version of it. So next I'm going to show you guys how to connect this thing to your phone, and I'm also going to show you how the app works. So have fun. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you how you set up your Inkbird. So you go on the App Store, and you download the Inkbird app. It's kind of strange because the device is called Inkbird, and Inkbird with an I, and the app is called Inkbird with an E. But anyhow, you download it, you open it, and now you can see we have already got two sensors here, which are, one is my Varanus glauati setup, the other one is the inside of the incubator, which I use to incubate some eggs right now. So we go on the plus right here. So as you can see, here we got different options for to choose for the setup. So we're going to choose pet. It has a preset of temperatures between 16 and 28 Celsius, and humidity levels from 45 to 80%. So we're going to choose that one. Hit the OK button. So now you can see it added the other sensor. So you go to settings. Here you can type in your own prefix for the sensor. I'm going to type in Varanus similis because we use this sensor inside of the similis setup. So Varanus similis, done. We now can choose, you can choose the intervals in which the sensor will take samples of the temperature and humidity. It starts from 10 seconds to 30 minutes. I have the preset at 1 minute.
1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Well, 1 minute. You must. 1 minute. Okay.
Here. So you can see the version is 1.6. So on we go to our settings. Which span of temperatures should be given inside of your vivarium? We're going to take similar settings to the Glauerte setup. So you can see we have a minimum temperature of 18 degrees Celsius and the max temperature. Guys, these are the ambient temperatures of the setup. So it's to a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius. The humidity is, from now we have the raining season inside of the setups, it is between 60 and 100%. So as the Similis monitor come from areas which are a little bit more moist than the Glauertes, we're going to add 10%. So now we go to settings. We set this one at a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius and the maximum of 35, like that. And the humidity levels should be anywhere from, say, 60 to 100. The next cool feature is you can activate these two buttons which are alert me. So you will get notifications when your setup is outside of these prefixes right here. Alright, so now you can see the new setup we have. You can see the battery charge of the sensor. You have your actual temperature, your actual humidity, and the next cool thing is you have a diagram option. So as we just installed the sensor a few minutes ago, we don't have any data here, but if I go to the Glauerte setup, choose the diagram, now you can see it is loading the data from the sensor.
Many months later.
So now you can see the diagram of the data which the sensor of the Glauerte setup took in the last day. You can see here the maximum was at 25.26 degrees with a minimum temperature of 19.10 degrees. Here you can see that it is set it on day. Before that, I'm going to show you the humidity. So here you can see we have a humidity gradient which goes up from 99.89, which is just immediately measured right after I sprayed the tank, and a minimum of 48. So up here you can choose like the week data, the monthly data, and the year data. So as you can see, when we look into the week, you can also see, you can see here that these are the ambient night temperatures, which are around like 20 degrees or something, and the peaks up here are in midday temperatures where we reach up to 29 degrees. Let's see the month, and you also can see the yearly data, which isn't full because I got the sensor since maybe 2 months. Alright, let's jump straight into my conclusions of the IBS Mini. I can recommend the device to you guys because I think it's a pretty neat little product to help you get your humidity and temperatures right in your enclosures without taking away of the natural looks of your setup. I wasn't sponsored by Inkbird or any other company. This is my own conclusion, which I made through now like 2 or 3 months of use of the Inkbird. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching the new video. Guys, please make sure to also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. By following me on Instagram, you can always stay in contact with me. I post pictures there like every day or every second day. And you can also communicate with me, join on, I don't know, join on my little surveys, and you can also tell me what kind of videos you would like to see in future. And yeah, make sure to do that. And guys, also don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click the bell icon below to always get notifications for new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.